Okay, welcome back to the Quiet Signal. I am your signal guide, your signal guy, your signal dude. I'm a voice that's associated with the Quiet Signal channel. Thank you for clicking on the video. I really appreciate it. Today we're talking about what are we talking about today? Oh yeah. Okay, we're talking about Stanley Kubrick, and basically this is all based off of a quote that he said. But just to kind of jump into it, Kubrick wasn't a coded warning conspiracy prophet. He was a systems thinker who treated power as a contamination risk and built his entire life around staying out of its reach. If you misunderstand Kubrick as exposing a secret club, you miss what he was actually diagnosing: how hierarchy captures people quietly, legally, socially, while letting the power stay clean. If you stick with this video, you will understand and have a sourced map of Kubrick's real posture towards power, what he said, what his family said he believed, and how he structured his career to avoid control, and the strongest counter-argument to this myth. So let's cut through the noise and listen to the quiet signal. We're going to take a look at Kubrick's anti-elite reputation and how it's partly true, but badly distorted. His real obsession wasn't gossip about rich people. It was the mechanics of authority, institutional coercion, and the way power makes normal morality optional. And the evidence is mostly in a direct family account of his life, rule about power, his own interviews where he rejects anarchism while describing tightly limited state authority, and his professional strategy of independence from studio control. Kubrick made films that feel like indictments of systems, war, bureaucracy, propaganda, sexual politics, and institutional violence. He refused to explain the lesson like a civic pamphlet, so the public fills the vacuum with myths. He was warning us. He exposed the elites. He was killed. He encoded a message. That entire genre exists because Kubrick's work is about power, but not in the simple way people want. The most direct warning line comes from Christiane Kubrick, his wife. In a Guardian interview, she says Kubrick's lifelong maximum was never, ever go near power. Don't become friends with anyone who has real power. It's dangerous. She frames it as a household principle tied to her own family history. Her uncle made Nazi propaganda films and was entangled with Goebbels' era power. An example of how proximity to political power can corrupt artists and warp judgment. Right, yeah. Kubrick treated power as something that pulls you into its orbit, and once you're in, you don't control the terms anymore. In the Michael Ciment interviews, Kubrick explicitly rejects anarchism and emphasizes parliamentary democracy. I am certainly not an anarchist. I believe very strongly in parliamentary democracy. And he argues the state's authority should be optimized and used only as required to keep society civilized. This matters because the lazy version of Kubrick is framed as anti-state, anti-system, anti-everything, but Kubrick's stated view is closer to humans are not naturally good, institutions are necessary, but coercive perfectibility projects are dangerous. This is a worldview consistent with A Clockwork Orange's critique of forced moral engineering without requiring any individual's own self-development. Kubrick had a strong anti-power workflow. In a 1959 profile on his independence, he describes his view that true independence requires leverage so that the studios can't interfere, and that going in without leverage invites control and loss of autonomy. And if you look at the broader arc, he increasingly structured production to minimize external authority. You can call it control freak, you can call it artistic protecting vision. The functional truth is the same. Kubrick engineered a system where fewer people could override him. In the Jeremy Bernstein interview, Kubrick describes himself as a school misfit. He says he didn't read books for pleasure until after high school, and credits deep engagement with photography and problem solving as formative. This fits a pattern of Kubrick's mind being self-taught, systems-oriented, and suspicious of institutions' sorting mechanisms, grades, hierarchies, and their stamp of approval. In the 1968 Playboy interview, Kubrick rejects Earth's monotheistic religions while entertaining a non-anthropomorphic God concept grounded in a cosmic scale and advanced intelligence. This is relevant because organized religion is a power structure. Kubrick's posture here is not church guy and not a simple atheist dunk. It is distrust of human institutions and institutional claims about God, openness to something vastly beyond human comprehension. Christiane Kubrick says Vivian became a Scientologist, cut off contact, and that was a major family tragedy. She describes a conflict during Eyes Wide Shut and says Kubrick wrote Vivian a long letter trying to win her back. I believe it was like 40 page. Yeah, it references the 40-page letter claimed by citing the same Guardian reporting. There is no public statement about Scientology that Kubrick ever made, or that Kubrick was at war with Scientology as an institution. Kubrick's films consistently explore concepts like power structures, elite social insulation, moral rot behind prestige, institutional hypocrisy, and how individuals can become disposable inside of systems. Kubrick's work would avoid clear moral conclusions, direct authorial instructions, obvious symbolism. Kubrick had personality traits or was known for his secrecy and reclusiveness, his perfectionism, his refusal to explain his films, the film's unsettling tone, presence of secret rituals, post-2000s conspiracy culture. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, I see what's confused there, okay. Kubrick's work repeatedly shows power erases accountability, institutions protect themselves, not individuals. Prestige masks cruelty, the truth is irrelevant when authority controls the narrative. In that 2010 Guardian interview, Kubrick's widow, Christiane Kubrick, is quoted saying, all Stanley's life, he said, never, ever go near power. Don't become friends with anyone who has real power. It's dangerous. This quote is a second-hand attribution to his wife quoting him, rather than a recording or letter. That line is presented as something Kubrick said repeatedly in private to his family. Another quote from him, I am certainly not an anarchist. I believe very strongly in parliamentary democracy, and I am of the opinion that the power and authority of the state should be optimized and exercised only to the extent that it is required to keep things civilized. Enlightened centrist, anybody? Kubrick is described as believing a genuine independence is possible only if the director stays clear of the major studios as long as possible, and that going in without key elements invites interference and a loss of control. Thank you.